Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right. Your ride has about begun. It did begin. Welcome to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is none other than Les Jackson. And we are going to bring you a lively hour of automotive information, things that, you might not have known. And we're going to talk about some vehicles coming back. We're going to talk about some pricing of vehicles. What vehicles have a little bit of a hard time with infotainment systems, and Toyota going Yoke, Les Jackson. We're not yoking around.
No, we're not yoking around. They're going Yoke. We'll explain that.
Yeah, but let's start at the top, and that includes the return of the Integra. Acura Integra. They're bringing it back. They're reviving performance, right, Les Jackson?
Absolutely. The Integra is going to be back. It was a very popular model for a long time.
Yeah, sure was.
And then, Acura started doing SUVs.
That's right. It's amazing they're bringing it back, and it's not an SUV.
Exactly.
We're also
pretty cool.
Going to talk about the Subaru Crosstrek. It is a very popular vehicle, and we got some pricing information for 2022. These things are everywhere I look. It's a good value.
They are. They're incredibly popular. And we're going to look at J.D. Power's Multimedia Quality and Satisfaction Study. They do this every year. I don't. Is anybody satisfied anymore? People
I don't know.
Seem to be cranky about everything. But anyway, we'll see who's doing really well and who isn't.
Yeah, and it's interesting when people buy a new vehicle, infotainment systems and problems with them are right at the top of the list of why they may be satisfied or not satisfied. We get to try out a lot of those things on our test car. Sometimes they work really well. Sometimes
they're irritating.
Sometimes they're irritating and they don't work at all. Yeah. And then we're going to tell you about Toyota going Yoke. Yes. Interesting. Is this a trend? Tesla went from a regular steering wheel to a Yoke. Now.
No.
Well, it looks like Toyota is at least offering the option. And they're also, they have a vehicle that's going to be the first drive-by-wire system.
Yeah, which is, of course, coming to everyone.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because that's something we'll probably see
Mercedes is looking into their crystal ball, and we'll tell you what they see.
What the heck does that mean? And then we're going to have an at-the-wheel review of this vehicle, the Jaguar F Pace. It is their best-selling vehicle, of course. It is a crossover, and of course, that will be coming up later on Cruise Control, an at-the-wheel review of the Jaguar F Pace. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les, he's Fred, and as we promised, we're going to talk a little bit about Acura bringing back the Integra. And for the Facebook, YouTube folks, we have a couple photos, actually, not quite full reveal photos.
No, that's true.
But they've announced it, and it'll be here. And it's certainly fulfills all of the promises of its name.
Yeah, it's always great when a vehicle's reimagined. That's for sure. And this is a performance vehicle. It is trying to follow on to the Integras of the past. This one will have a limited slip diff and a high output 1.5 liter engine. And it has a 5-door design. So of course
like that.
Of course they'll call it a coupe, even though it's 4 doors. I'm sorry, just find that weird. But when's the last time there was an Integra? Was it 2001?
Yes, 2001. Now that's 20 years ago.
Yeah, when you think about it, how many of their customers will be looking for buying one of these to kind of get back the glory days of the original Integra, and how many will be buying it just as, well, it's a new, cool 5-door vehicle?
Well, I think the marketing plan here, and again, I'm guessing, is that they're figuring, well, a lot of Acura buyers are now, middle-aged, 35 to, say, 50.
Uh-huh.
And they've got the Acura CUVs or SUVs. Maybe they're having a little bit of a midlife crisis, and they'd like another hot, sporty Acura.
Yeah.
Like they lusted over when they were 20.
Or maybe drove.
Yeah.
And always regretted selling it. Yes, they call it a distinct coupe-like road presence. I just don't know how how 4 doors became coupes. I just don't know that. Or 5 doors in this case.
Yeah. I guess if it has a rakish
roof
slope on the rear, that it's a coupe.
Okay, so anything with a fastback, which I like that term, fastback window.
Yeah.
This is going to be the 5th generation of the Integra, and I think it will be fun to see. Will it be as popular as the initial model? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be built. It's going to launch in 2023, and it will be built in America at the Marysville, Ohio auto plant, and the same production line as the Acura TLX. It will join Acura models, many new models in the Acura lineup built in Ohio.
There's only one thing I actually don't like about it.
And what's that?
And that's the Integra name on the rocker panel area.
Yeah, that seems very 1970s, doesn't it?
I've never liked the name of cars stickered out on the side. I think takes away.
It's like obvious. It's like it would be like putting the word fork on a fork.
Yes, that's right.
Knife, fork, just obvious things like that. Yeah. I agree. It's kind of an old school style. Did the original have that? I don't remember.
I don't think it did. I'm going to check, but I don't think it did.
Yeah, I think the key here is it is a sedan, a coupe-like sedan.
And it's performance.
So be interesting to see how this does. Certainly, there's a lot of people excited about it. They had a big event to reveal it. They had a lot of the original vehicles out there and engineers from
Yeah, but
Japan.
don't ask for heated seats.
Les talking about how some manufacturers are eliminating them because of the chip shortage. Yeah. We'll have to check this out when it comes out in 2023. But let's talk about
soon.
It's hard to believe, but soon, yes. Let's talk about a vehicle you can get very soon, and that is the Subaru Crosstrek. We're going to talk about that when we come back. A very popular vehicle. We'll get some pricing information and talk a little bit about some of the new things for the 2022 model year of the Subaru Crosstrek and Crosstrek Hybrid. Hey, I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. When we come back, more Cruise Control. Stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred Staub is over there in the other seat. I am in this seat, and we are going to fulfill our promise made before the break that we're going to talk to you about the new Subaru Crosstrek pricing. Good luck getting one.
Yeah.
Because they're really, really popular. My advice, if you want one and you live in the Northeast, is go to Georgia and buy one down there.
I haven't checked out.
It back.
Haven't checked out the inventory in Georgia. To be
well, they're just hugely popular, and the 2022 is certainly no exception.
Yeah,
lots of standard features. and the pricing is fortunately only, ready for it, only
Yeah.
a modest $300 increase.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Now,
No.
for the 2022 model year, remember, this vehicle's getting a full makeover, brand new clean sheet in 2023. Never a bad idea to buy a vehicle that has been completely developed.
That's true.
Because a lot of kinks have been worked out of it. We definitely recommend the 2.5-liter 182 horsepower engine, which is standard on the Sport and the limited trim levels. It makes a big difference. And you also can consider their hybrid, their plug-in hybrid, which is a little bit older style hybrid. It only gets 17 miles in the EV mode, so small battery. But still, that's pretty good. That's a couple of days of use. Let's dig into it a little bit, right?
Yep.
You know, what's interesting is there'll probably be a wilderness version of this vehicle, which means it gets raised up a little bit higher than the others and will have black wheels. But frankly, I don't know how much more they can raise it up. It's got an 8.7-inch ground clearance, which is pretty good to begin with, isn't it?
That's pretty high. And of course, low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Because of the engine. So
the base and the premium are powered by a 152 horsepower 2-liter 4-cylinder boxer. You can get on the base a standard 6-speed manual transmission, or of course you can get the CVT model. And the CVT models with the smaller engine get 28 city, 33 highway, 30 combined. You'll lose a little bit if you go up to the big one, but still, you do some big numbers. The big block, the 182 horsepower 2.5 boxer, that's 27 city, 34 highway, 29 combined. Still not bad. Frankly, for the loss of 1 mpg, I would say it's probably better to go for the bigger engine. I drove one of these, 2021 model, and I liked it a lot, frankly. It was great. There are a few things that are missing, like dual zone climate control. I don't know why.
Right.
No heated steering wheel available unless you go to Canada. I don't know why that is. It's a big thing that people talk about constantly on this. That I think the new one they'll probably make it available. Drives well. It's got the eyesight safety system. And that is a really great system, camera-based, 2 cameras on either side of the rear view mirror. It's a great size vehicle. It's a small, compact crossover, plenty of room. I liked their separate screen that they have up on the dash that has an inclinometer and some more information. Great all-wheel drive system. I'm interested in 2023 what they do with this, what it looks like. Does it grow in size? Does it stay the same size? Does it get a more robust plug-in hybrid mode with, let's say, 30 or 40 miles of electric power? We'll have to see. But right now, this is a very well engineered vehicle, and it is in its last year of production, this version. And you're only getting a price increase of $200. Not a lot new on this for the 2022 model year. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't think there's much of anything new on it.
No, it's a decent value. And of course, you're not going to be able to deal on it.
No, they are everywhere by me. They're you can't walk outside and not see one of these. So it's a good deal. Let's talk a little bit about another report from J.D. Power. And they always do some interesting studies, and we love to talk about them on Cruise Control. And this latest one is the J.D. Power 2021 U.S. Multimedia Quality and Satisfaction Study. It was released this week, just 2 days ago. And they talk about one of the biggest thing that makes people either love or hate their new vehicle less, and that is infotainment systems. Now, have you? You drive a lot of cars like I do. I typically try to hook into the infotainment system and get the Bluetooth going without looking at a manual because that's my test of it. If I can do it without a manual,
Yeah.
and it goes on the first time, then it's a pretty good system. Certain systems, I think there was one where I could just never get connected to Android Auto, and I don't know why, but most work pretty well, don't they?
Most do. Most you can intuitively go over to the screen, select phone, and then there'll typically be a little menu that'll pop up saying, no phone currently detected. Do you want to do so? You say yes, and it sends a signal to your phone, and the whole thing takes a couple minutes. It works okay. Every once in a while, you just can't make it happen.
Do you use Android Auto?
Not often, but I do.
Yeah, I use it a lot, and I think what I like about it, Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. My wife has a Apple phone. I have an Android phone. That's by design, so we can test out both systems on press cars. And I find that's one of the best nav systems because you can set it up. You can text it to your phone, and boom, it's in there. You don't have to sit there trying to find it and say, no, I don't find that. And you know what you're getting. You know how the navigation system works. So I used to think like, well, why would you use that? And if you had a navigation system built in, well, the reason is, like I said, you can text it to your phone, or send it to your car. It's just a good system, and you know what you get every time. Well, anyway, this has been a problem, especially using wireless connecting your cell phones and hooking up Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And it's something that causes a lot of problems, according to Brett Gruber, who's Senior Director of Global Automotive Quality at J.D. Power. They're getting better. And here are some of the top performers when it comes to getting connected. Mid-size, large Nissan Maxima, a car that gets a lot of love from reviewers and that, but I don't know how much it's selling these days. I really can't say if I've seen one in a long time.
I don't think much.
As far as mid-size, large, premium vehicles, Cadillac Escalade and Chevrolet Corvette, they seem to work well. Small compact car, Nissan Sentra, hooks in well. And also a premium small compact car, BMW 4 Series. These are all vehicles where the multimedia system works really well, and it's easy to hook up to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's interesting, though, that this creates a lot of problems for people. And I can see how, because, every car works a little bit differently, and sometimes now you're depending on your phone for navigation. It's not just a gimmick like, oh, I can stream my cruise control podcast. It's, hey, I have to get going, so I have to see this. So interesting study from the folks over at J.D. Power. You can check it out and see if your car scores well. Hey, I'm Fred Staub. We will be right back. He is Les Jackson, also going to join us. You're on Cruise Control.
Mm-hmm.
Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Les.
Grab the yoke, will you?
Stop yoking around.
I need to bail out of the cockpit.
I can't stand that joke. I can't Yogi Barrett. Yogi Barrett.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Terrible joke.
Well, I think we pretty much share the same feelings about controlling a vehicle with a yoke versus a steering wheel.
Well, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I always like technology. Obviously, if you're talking about cars, you like technology. Sure. And some of my other pursuits in the world, I always felt you can't stop technology. You got to embrace it. And, I remember when nonlinear editing came out, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And people were like, that's never going to work. And now that's what people use all the time. I was like open-minded to it. It's like, oh, well, let's see what it does. Sure. But sometimes there's changes that really don't really serve a purpose, but they're done anyway, just for the heck of it. And one of them happened on the new Model S Tesla, and they went to a standard yoke, which is sort of like an old airplane.
Yeah, like a B-17.
Yeah, B-17. Even, some of the, I think even the Boeing still uses that. Many have gone to a side stick, but Boeing still uses that. And it's like a picture steering wheel, but you cut the top off of it, right? And Musk went to this, and people asked him, well, why are you doing that? And he said, well, I don't know. There's no real difference. Just to be different. I mean, there is a plausible reason where the rim of the steering wheel isn't there, and you can see the gauge cluster better. That might have some merit to it. But the problem is when you rotate the steering wheel around, there's a whole section that's not there, and you end up like doing one of these things where you're twisting your arms, and they only go so far.
Or this,
Yeah.
Where you're shunting it back and forth. Well, that's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, sadly, this weirdly may be becoming a trend. And with one of the worst names for a vehicle ever, the little b, capital Z 4X, BZ4X, that is Toyota.
Wow.
But it is a little b, large Z, 4, and capital X. That will offer an optional yoke steering wheel, similar to Tesla. Now, in this case, it is going to be optional. Matter of fact, they provided a photo with and without the yoke option. Certainly, this is an electric SUV. Certainly, it will be coming to the U.S. in some form. It's about a RAV4 sized vehicle, promising 310 miles of range.
Yeah.
Big vehicle for Toyota. But
and what Toyota's doing, even to make it more complex, is that you're going to be able to change the steering characteristics with the drive mode selector, so you have better seating settings for your type of driving. Well, my question is, what is your type of driving? and what are you setting?
Yeah, and the other thing is, which I think we will see more of for a number of reasons, this is a drive-by-wire system. So in many ways, this is sort of like the steering wheels you use for car simulators. They have direct force feedback. They have a motor that sort of gives you more or less feedback as you turn tighter or turn quicker. And it is a steer-by-wire system, So there's no shaft that goes into a steering box or rack and pinion. It is completely connected by wires. And they're saying, Toyota, that lock to lock, this yoke will only need to be turned 150 degrees. So the problem of having a yoke will be reduced by the steer-by-wire system. They also say the steer-by-wire system will control steering torque and driver feeling and steering angle of the tires, and they will put in resistance because, let's face it, that's how you drive. You feel the resistance in the vehicle,
that's right?
And that's one of the things of a simulator. If you had no resistance, and it would just be a wheel on a bench, and it wouldn't mean anything. You know, you couldn't drive without resistance. So what's interesting, two bits of technology, the yoke, which they will make optional, and they'll have a standard Toyota-looking steering wheel. But I think steer-by-wire is something we're going to see become standard. Let's face it, electric power steering has become standard, and that's needed for electric cars. But think about drive-by-wire with no shaft. It means a lot less weight. It means you can easily vary the feel of the car, make it sportier or less sporty. And also it means you can easily move the steering wheel from one side to the other. You just extend the wires, right?
Well, now that, of course, is terrific.
Yeah.
At the manufacturing side.
Or if you're building an autonomous car, you can make the steering wheel retract because you're just moving wires around. You're not trying to fold a steering wheel shaft up. So I think we're going to see more of this steer-by-wire for sure. Yokes, I'm not much sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about yokes. I think, there are some things that just aren't likely to become popular.
Yeah, I just don't see the benefit of it, and you can't make people feel uncomfortable in it. What do you think some of the Model S folks, when they go in, they say, okay, I want to update my car, I want to get a new Model S and turn in my old one. They're going to be pretty surprised to see that, aren't they?
I would think. But again, so many of those owners are kind of part of a sort of a club.
Yeah, and they're like,
they don't mind it. They just feel that they're trailblazers.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little tech, or a little more tech. Mercedes, and this is according to Car Buzz, who likes to look at filings, has filed for a crystal ball to control their infotainment system. This is basically a trackball that would sit in the center console, as opposed to a knob that we have at BMW and Audi and some of the others. And it is basically a trackball, a crystal trackball, that would run the operating system, like Amazon Alexa, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And this would be their new controller. So you could turn this multiple ways, spin it, all kinds of things. What do you think of that? The orb in your center console.
Well, that's what I was thinking. And okay, if you can turn it all different directions, are you gaining anything by that? It's kind of neat looking.
Yeah, and it uses magnetic field technology, so the ball can hover and spin freely. You could probably get this thing spinning pretty good, I bet, don't you think?
Well, yeah, it's sort of a Rubik's Cube of controllers.
It's the ultimate computer mouse, isn't it?
Yeah. But if you can lift it up and all that to control it, couldn't you drop it?
I don't know if it's fixed to the console, or it's got to be fixed, because you can't have something just floating around like that in a car. If you have to stop rapidly, the thing would go flying.
Yeah, that's true.
And smash through the windshield or something. And I don't know. But it is something that is Mercedes has applied for the patent. And this is what they're doing. It's got proximity and gyro sensors. It can change light via light and movement. It can signal you with lights as what you're going into. I don't know. Interesting thought. What's funny is it just looks like it's sitting there on the console, like it's been lowered onto it, like somebody sat it there, but I don't know. Hey, when we come back, we're going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Jaguar F Pace. It's their biggest selling vehicle right now. Of course, it is a crossover. We're going to take a look at the vehicle and look at some of the cool technology, including a supercharged and turbocharged hybrid drive system. When we come back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. And it is time for an At the Wheel review. This week, we're going to be reviewing the Jaguar F Pace, which is their most popular selling vehicle. Of course, it's a crossover. And
Of course.
things have changed dramatically, Les, at Jaguar. Their XJ, I don't believe they're even producing their XJ anymore, or there's some talk they won't in the future. They may go all electric. But in the meantime, the F Pace is quite an interesting vehicle. And it has probably one of the most interesting drivetrains out there. It has what they call an MHEV technology, inline six-cylinder. Ours had the 335 horsepower. 395 horsepower is optional, but ours had the 335 horsepower engine. It is a six-speed, six-cylinder, 3-liter Ingeum engine, which means it is supercharged and turbocharged, and it is a hybrid as well. So can you get all that stuff in one 3-liter six-cylinder? It's a lot, really. And what I liked about it was completely smooth. All of this going on, supercharging, turbocharging, hybrid. You didn't even know it was a hybrid. It was the transitions were so smooth that I didn't know that was happening. Now, one of the nice features about this vehicle too is the interior and the amount of stitching in the seats and just gorgeous interior, high-end interior. The dash I found to be actually kind of plain, but plain in a high-end sort of way. There weren't a lot of controls. Certain controls did double duty, like the heating system. You turn it one way, you would get the temperature control. You turn it the other way, you would get the fan speed. And almost looked a little austere, but with very, very high-end materials. You look at the outside of the vehicle, does it scream Jaguar? Probably not. It's just a clean design, large front grille. There's a little bit of a side port styling on the front fender. And then in the back, it's got very high hips and a short rear glass window, which is common on many SUVs. The roofline does not tilt back that much, but since the hips come up very high in the back, you get sort of a small back window, which is sometimes a little hard to see out of, depending on your height. We had a lot of piano black trim on the back, dual exhaust ports. Of course, you've got the Leaper represented on the vehicle. This was all blacked out, the trim, one of the features of this vehicle.
Is that a chip on that back that I saw?
I don't think so. I treated it well. But you got the Leaper on the side as well, and, of course, in the front. Pretty straightforward design on the front. This is an Eiger gray, and the interior was caraway with ebony caraway accents. Of course, the famous Jaguar in the front on the front grille. No longer have stand-up Leapers on these vehicles. That's due to pedestrian safety and aerodynamics. Just a clean design. I would say overall, that's what I would say. This vehicle is very clean in its design. Does it say Jaguar? I don't know. It doesn't really stand out in many ways, design-wise, when compared to some of the other crossovers. Let's take a look on the inside, though. This is this caraway with ebony leather interior and beautiful, beautiful vehicle. A lot of nice polished aluminum style trim, short shifter, and really just a clean, luxurious interior. We had rotary knobs and roller knobs to control things. Everything you touch is high-end in this vehicle. It also had this navigation system they call PV Pro, which is a dual SIM infotainment system, and that is an 11.4-inch HD curved glass touchscreen. and you can get software over-the-air updates on that as well. Nice features, too. Innovative active road noise cancellation and cabin air ionization, which is rated at PM 2.5 filtration. If you've been wearing a mask lately, you know that's what your mask is. It's typically a PM 2.5 filtration. As I said before, 6-liter turbocharged and supercharged engine with a hybrid system. Seamless driving on the road. You did not know you were driving a hybrid. You did not know all that was going on in the background. Just a beautiful vehicle to drive as far as its road manners, and just elegant and clean on the outside. Now, you might be asking, well, what does it all cost? Is that what you were asking?
I was certainly curious about that. And by the way, I want to ask you another question.
All right.
Does it look British to you?
It looks like many other crossovers. It does not look
British. It looks British inside.
It looks British inside, but on the outside, it just looks like a cleanly designed crossover.
Yeah, it's handsome.
I think most of the style comes in the back with the higher hips and the shorter rear glass, the high-mounted tail lamps. Up front, it could look like a Lincoln. It could look like many other crossovers, I would say. But let's talk about the pricing on this. As I told you, it was Eiger Gray, Caraway with ebony Caraway interior. We had a lot of options. We had the Hot Climate Pack with a lockable cooled glove box, 4-zone climate control, air quality sensor, cabin air ionization with that PM 2.5 filter. That set us back $2,100. And then 16-way massage heated and cooled memory front seats, 21-inch 10-spoke style wheels, head-up display, Meridian sound system. It has those Caraway Windsor leather seats, Wi-Fi enabled with data plan, gloss black roof rails, privacy glass, adaptive surface response. I don't know what that is, but it costs $150. All in, the MSRP, $59,395. When you add it all in, all those options, with a destination, which is $1,150, you come up with a price tag of $73,420.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's, I would say, in a British way, substantial. Wouldn't you say that?
It's substantial.
It's substantial.
It's not different from other luxury offerings.
No, that's true. That's true. I think the strength really in this vehicle does come from the interior. I think the interior really stands above many other vehicles. But once again, it's not an overly done interior. Simple, expansive, clean, really nice, high-quality materials. Let's talk about mileage. So you get a 20 miles per gallon city, 27 highway, for a combined of 22 miles per gallon. It's not been crash rated, so we can't tell you about that. Final assembly point is Solihull, UK. I guess I said that, or Solihull, probably Solihull, UK. Engine comes from the UK, transmission from Germany. Very well equipped, very comfortable. The thing is, what about the styling? I mean, on the road, loved it. I think it's a luxury vehicle that doesn't really stand out when you look at it combined to other vehicles, but certainly the quality is there. And if you really want to have a nice interior to travel around in, that's what you want to get. 2021 F Pace S from the folks over at Jaguar. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road. Take care.
Bye.